Hey, what's going on, guys? Shane here with Ricardo.
Hi guys.
This video is brought to you by Chipotle, not because we're sponsored by them, but because Ricardo works for them.
Give me tips.
Anyway, he works hard at Chipotle and he comes over to train with me. So Ricardo had his first match, a little exhibition sparring smoker over at Sweet Science Gym, and he did very good. I'm very proud of him. He dropped his opponent in the second round with a beautiful pull counter. We're going to talk a little bit about that today, because today's topic is the #1 mistake that people make with footwork, and it's this. It's stepping too wide. It's stepping too far. It slows you down, it wastes your energy, it puts you in bad position, and this is something that this young lad here needed help with. We worked on it meticulously, and it helped out for us. So let's take a look. All right, so a very clean knockdown for Ricardo there. What was going on through your mind? Like, I don't know if it was conscious, but you were doing those inches backwards. Were you baiting him in? Was there anything going on in your mind before you landed that?
I actually heard his coach saying izquierda para abajo, so I thought he was already going to shoot his left hand towards my body, but instead he threw his right hand and he cocked back too much, and that's when I saw it. I pulled back and I countered.
Wait, what are you saying? What does that mean?
Izquierda para abajo, meaning left hand to the body, or left hand down. Izquierda abajo.
One thing that we always talk about with Ricardo is if they come into your bubble, then tell them to get out with a jab. Just keep sticking that jab. So that's the first thing. If you ever see someone just kind of inching towards you, then Ricardo should be sticking that jab. If he's close enough to hit me, I'm close enough to hit him, but he should be the one leading the dance. He should be the one getting off first. His opponent ended up leading with a right hand. It would have been better if he kind of set that up with even a feint at first, but it worked out perfect in our favor because Ricardo got him to overextend. And what Ricardo was doing was just taking inches back, and we call these micro steps. Ricardo had a problem when we first started, just stepping too deep on his punches. So if he threw a jab, he would step maybe like a foot. Right? If he was retreating, he would step a foot in either direction. Again, guys, it's too much. In the game of inches, as they call it, you got to start thinking in millimeters, right? And in the game of seconds, it's actually milliseconds. So you have to be very specific with how far you're moving your foot. And if you notice in the video, Ricardo only moved about 4 inches with his foot when he used that pull counter. And when you think about it like that, you want to move enough so that you don't get hit with his right hand, but you don't want to move too far away because you don't want him to be able to lift his hand up and block your counter. So let's demonstrate how that works. So he was moving towards you, putting a little bit of pressure on, and you're just kind of matching him. So he's taking little steps, you're taking these micro steps. Now when he loads up for this right hand, you probably took a step back maybe 4 inches with that rear foot, just enough so that this right hand doesn't land, but then you got the counter right hand available to you, okay? So again, when you start to practice your shadow boxing, when you're on the head bag, when you're on mitts, when you're sparring, instead of taking these big exaggerated steps, thinking about I have to close the distance quick, it's gonna be better to maybe take 2 or 3 small steps to get there as opposed to 1 large step, right? You're gonna cover that distance a little bit quicker. You can hide your movement to be a little bit more fluid, and then you should be pumping the jabs, fakes, and keeping your head off the center line as you're moving forward. So one way to kind of force this habit of keeping these steps much smaller rather than large steps is what we did with Ricardo was we put this big rubber band that we got from a really large lobster that was on.
Deadliest catch.
No, these are just, you know, like a resistance band, small one that's going to give you enough resistance so that when you step, it's pulling back, but enough that you can fit this around both feet. So let's put this on here real quick. And then to the other side.
The modern version of Rocky's shoelace drill.
Exactly, exactly. So what this is doing to him now is forcing his feet to be a little bit more narrow. Now there's going to be different types of habits that people have. Some people may have too narrow of a stance and they need to get a little bit wider. Obviously we're going to do something different from that. We want to kind of just enforce them to keep their feet a little bit more wide. And then with Ricardo, like I said, his base was a little bit too far apart, so we had to have this constant reminder, the elastic band, to shrink his base, how wide his feet are apart. So if he starts to step now, let's say you are practicing that pull counter, right? I throw this right hand, you step back, it's reminding him, you don't have to go that far back. You're feeling the resistance, you're feeling more pull, and you're getting your foot to the ground a little bit faster. So that's a drill that we can do, whether you have the resistance band or not. It's just you have one partner who's throwing either a left hook or a right hand, simulating and kind of giving them a response of, or a telegraph of me pulling it back, and then he gets his counter punch. The left hand's probably going to be a little bit better, especially if we have mitts on. So I'll go like this, wind up with the left hook, he pulls back, comes back with the right hand. One more time, I'll wind up the left hook, and then I got my pad available for the right hand counter. So that's one that you can drill with a partner right there. Like I said, if you have the resistance band, that's a plus, that's a bonus if you have this problem of being a little bit too wide with your feet. Otherwise, just do it on mitts without the band. Alright guys, there you have it. So again, just try to minimize how far you're stepping. Usually that's the number one problem that people have, is just stepping a little bit too far, wasting too much time and energy. Think micro steps, think millimeters, think milliseconds, because that's how specific you have to be in this game of boxing and combat sports. Guys, click the link in the description below for this champ, this young champ right here. Got Instagram is blowing up after that knockdown, so please support and follow him, and subscribe to get the fight tips before your opponent does. Till then, I'm Shane.
I'm Ricardo.
Fight tips for the underdogs.